Namaste. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Chavi Bhandari, and I'm part of the Community Engagement and Involvement team at the NIHR Global Health Research Center for Non-Communicable Diseases and Environment Change. It's a real pleasure to open the inaugural session of Voices of Practice, a series on meaningful community engagement. This series offers a space for reflection, learning, and dialogue co-created with our wonderful Public Advisory Board members whose perspectives ground our work in real-world relevance and community needs. So, while there's a wealth of theory around community engagement, we felt that there was a strong need to ground this series in practice, particularly in the context of low and middle income countries where most of us attending today work. So today's session, Who Owns Research? Shifting Power to the Communities, sets the tone for what's to come. It's hosted by our center in collaboration with Global Fund for Children, and we are delighted to be joined by Ms. Rituu Nanda and Ms. Indrani Chakrabarti. Ritu is a passionate advocate for participatory approaches and a valued member of our Public Advisory Board. Alongside grassroots NGO partners, Ritu will help us explore what it truly means for communities to move from being participants to co-creators of knowledge. This session really invites all of us to pause, reflect, and be inspired. So thank you all for being here. We hope it sparks new thinking and deepens our collective commitment to community-led change. Before we dive into the conversation, I'd like to invite Ms. Indrani Chakrabarti, Regional Co-Director for Asia at the Global Fund for Children, to share a few words about the work of the organization. We are so pleased to have you all here. Over to you, Ms. Indrani. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am Indrani Chakrabarti. I am based in Kolkata, and I work as Regional Co-Director, South Asia. At Global Fund for Children, we believe that sustainable change for children and youth begins with communities themselves. For over 30 years, GFC has partnered with grassroots leaders and organizations around the world who are driving bold ideas to shift social norms, influence policies, and transform practices that affect young people's lives. We find and invest in community-based organizations and individuals across the world who are working to shift social norms, influence policies, and transform practices in order to foster sustainable change for children, youth, and communities. To address the root causes of problems facing children and youth, GFC grassroots partners in the Addressing Root Causes, in short ARC, initiative are learning how to listen to each other, themselves, and their communities. Through ARC, a cohort of community-based partners is engaging directly with their local communities to tackle complex and multifaceted issues such as generational poverty, restricted access to education, or forced migration. In addition to addressing the root causes of exploitation, they are increasing the capacity of youth and communities to lead local interventions that reduce harm, as well as promoting children's rights and empowerment. ARC is currently centered on enabling stronger community and youth-led action in Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. ARC uses SALT. SALT means stimulate, appreciate, listen, learn, and transfer. And CLCP means Community Life Competence Process, as frameworks to bring together GFC partners and the communities in which they work. SALT develops facilitation skills through an appreciative and listening mindset, and CLCP builds collective leadership in organizations and communities. The CLCP approach encourages organizations and communities to take ownership of the challenges they face and to design implement and assess a response to these challenges. In the past, the ARC partners have worked on a variety of child and youth focused issues, often in line with the priorities of funders or their own organizational goals. Now, the community, including children and youth, will decide what direction these partners take. This is community owned action in practice. I would like to request Ritu. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Indrani. So, it's important that we learn from each other and recognize the strengths and the wisdom which everyone brings. So I invite you to use Mentimeter. So if you see, there's a link, and if you can scan it with your phone, or if Maruf, I request you to put the link in the chat box. Once you open the link, you just need to put the code. So we are inviting you to share example where you were able to engage communities meaningfully. आप एक ऐसा एग्जाम्पल शेयर करें जहाँ पे कम्युनिटीज को आप इंगेज कर पाए, बट वो एक्चुअली वो आके अपना काम कर रहे थे. Wow. So community started taking actions, organized a campaign, co-designed household devices. Community built schools, wow, in dissemination. Okay, girls started computer clubs, is it? Karate club. Like preparing roads. Wow. Masculinity. Okay. Asking the community what kind of health services they need. Girls start playing outside. Okay. Group solved climate change. Wow. Community education empowerment. Okay. Coming through is that in various thematic areas and in various ways, communities are taking action, and we have people from around the world, or at least 3-4 countries where this is happening. In dissemination, in co-design, in education, in climate change. So we acknowledge that all of us here have substantial experience in engaging communities, and we really care for communities. So I invite you that because of the limited time, even if you're not able to speak, but please do share in the chat, because no one has all the answers. So maybe move to the next one then, and we'll send you all these. So the next question, if you click on the Mentimeter on the next question and rate yourself, no one has been able to achieve the highest level of participation. But where are we now? Let's assess ourselves as a group. अभी हम कहाँ पे हैं इस ladder of participation में? So there is, do we inform the community or do we consult, or do we involve, do we collaborate, or there's shared leadership? Wow. Okay. And even more are on the higher scale or deeper level of involvement of communities. So I think a lot is possible. It gives me hope. So I'm really grateful to you all for responding. And so now you all have an idea where we are as a team. So as you saw the letter of participation, and as I reflect on my own journey, and I just want to acknowledge where I come from. Like, I'm a researcher, evaluation professional, but more than that, I facilitate and community led, and that's where my heart is. Uh, so as we were looking at the ladder, one thing we are learning of working in communities is that beyond participation, ownership is the key. If we really want that, communities are architects of their own lives, because in the constellation from where the SALT approach comes, in which my colleague Indrani explained, the theory of change is that when people take ownership, they want to take action because they say, it's ours, ye hamara hai, we want to do something about it, we care about it. And this, I will not explain, there's a link shared in the chat. But as Indrani explained, this learning cycle, it's an action learning cycle where the group who wants to take action goes through that learning cycle. And what's special about, which I feel as a facilitator, is that the group, the community, the organization, trade union, UN, research evaluation, I've used it a lot. And it here, the community or the group designs, implements, and self-evaluates. So we, as the facilitators, we just walk along, and SALT is the way of working, connecting as a human and deeply appreciating and listening to the community. This approach has been used in 65 plus countries. And we at the Global Fund for Children are currently using it. Okay, as a researcher, and there are a lot of researchers today, I want to acknowledge the challenges we face when we are invited. Oh, could you engage the community more? Okay, and I faced that challenge as well about 10, 12 years ago when I got into community facilitation. And there are two things, I realized. First is, were the communities prepared? Did they have ownership? Often researchers have limited resources. We have limited time to complete research or conduct an evaluation. And we do not have time to do this. So we acknowledge that. And secondly, is that another challenge which I faced was that, did I have the facilitation skills? Because if you want to engage groups and want them to take ownership, and they are very used to being provided, services, and just being the recipients of what the outsiders, it could be the government, it could be the NGO or an external agency, and what will stimulate them. So if I or the researcher does not have that skill, then if it's not part of our education, then we are going to struggle. So these are the two things I faced, and let's acknowledge that this does happen. So I was thinking of, when I was preparing, like, okay, we are asked to plant the seeds of community engagement, but the ground, it's concrete. So how are we going to do it? So it's not, so we cannot just take the soul that we are not able to do it. It's the systemic issue. And we about 93 people on the call today, and maybe we can do something about it. Okay, so this gives me hope, and I wanted to start with this acknowledgement. And whatever I'm sharing today, it comes very deep from me. And whatever I've learned, it's from the communities, and there are my teachers. And I really want to, I'm so proud that today, one of the researchers from the village, he's just come. We just told him that we are having this meeting, and he says, I want to come. So I really want to acknowledge that finally we have someone from the village here and really not prepared at all. Okay, so he'll speak from his heart, but we will invite him. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to share that story. But first, I want to share that. So because at Global Fund for Children, we recognize that it's a systemic problem, and if we just try that, if the change comes in the community, neither it's deep enough and neither it's sustainable because the entire environment is not supportive. And therefore, as an intermediary grant making organization for this initiative, our team, I must acknowledge the team at GFC who were able to convince the donors from where we get funding that we want the entire process to be participatory. So we did it at 3 levels, and I'm sharing this as it may help you. So first is that the organizations. So GFC supports group of organizations. So power distributed amongst them. And second level is the power within organizations. So if you face those power dynamics within your own organizations, you are less likely to transfer this to the community. And the third is the power from the external agency to the community. And finally, the power, the hierarchy, which exists in the communities. Some groups can hijack the entire agenda. So acknowledging that the entire framework of addressing root causes is based that power is shifted at all levels. So I wanted to stop here. If you have any insights, if you have any suggestions, if please feel free, because we don't have all the answers, but we are very happy to learn. So please leave that in the chat. And now if Maruf could move to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. So today we are going to share 3 examples. And the first one is when we started facilitating with our partner Avni in village Nandwal. It is in Maharashtra, in western part of India. Their community started taking a lot of actions. However, as time passed, they acknowledged that there were 6 suicides by men in the village, and they were very disturbed. And it was in past 3 years. And that is when they built a dream of a happy village. And we invited them that, would you like to understand why is this happening? And this was not part of the project. And but they agreed and said, yes, we are going to do research. And I'm going to invite from Avni Jayashri. She's a facilitator, and she's doing her master's in social work. And she will share, and she is the daughter of this village. So from her, we are going to listen.
गुड आफ्टरनून ऑल. मॅडम, मी मराठीत थोडं थोडं बोलून तुम्ही ट्रान्सलेट करणार का? मी एकदमच सगळं संपू? स्लाइड नुसार बोलू का?
जयश्री, आप हिंदी बोल सकते हैं, बिकॉज काफी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को हिंदी आती है. So Jayashri will speak a local language, and Anuradha ji, who heads the organization, will in the end translate. Yes,
Jayashri. हेलो. हाँ, जो अभी हम स्लाइड में देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे हमारा गांव है. मैं नंदवाल की रहने वाली हूँ. तो यहाँ पे जो कम्युनिटी के लोग आए हैं, शुरुआत में हम सॉल लेकर काम करते थे. तो वहाँ पे हमारे गांव में एक इशू आया कि बहुत सारे यूथ ने सुसाइड किया, 5-6 सुसाइड किया. तो गांव वाले लोग बोल रहे थे कि ऐसा क्या कर सकते हैं जो ये रुक जाएगा. तो हमने तो बोला कि हम तो खुद कुछ नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हम सब मिलकर कुछ तो करेंगे. तो ये फैसला हुआ कि हम रिसर्च करेंगे, लेकिन इनके रूट कॉज में जाकर रिसर्च करेंगे। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि जो यूनिवर्सिटी में पीएचडी वगैरह लोग करते हैं ना, वही रिसर्च करते हैं, लेकिन बाद में हमारी ऋतु की से ज़्यादा डिस्कशन हो गई, तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि कम्युनिटी लोग भी रिसर्च कर सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे हमने एक कमेटी बनाया, वहाँ पे ग्राम पंचायत के लोग थे, आशा वर्कर थे, आंगनवाड़ी सेविका थे, गांव के बच्चों भी थे, और सास उमन सब थे। तो ये सब मिलकर एक कमेटी हमने किया, और कमेटी को लेकर हमने एक रिसर्च किया। यहाँ पे फर्स्ट मीटिंग हमने यहाँ पे जो अपने फोटो देख रहे हैं, यहाँ पे फर्स्ट मीटिंग, हमारे गांव का एक बड़ा मंदिर है, वहाँ पे सब आए थे, फर्स्ट मीटिंग हमने किया। और गांव लोग और बोला कि यहाँ के जो लोग आए हैं, यहाँ पे कौन कौन पार्टिसिपेंट हो सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे अब देख रहे हैं कि लोगों ने ऊपर हाथ वगैरह किया है, और वो डिसाइड हो गया, कमेटी फाइनल हो गई वहां पे। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज मारूफ। तो ये जो आप देख रहे हैं, तो यूथ है, और ये लेडी है, उनको जाकर हमने एक ट्रेनिंग लिया कि कैसा हम आगे जाकर घर घर में जाकर कैसे लोगों के साथ बात करनी है, कैसे उनके साथ फॉर्म फिलअप करना है, ये सब डिस्कस अब ये देख रहे घर यहाँ लेडीज के साथ और यहाँ यूथ के साथ हमने ये ट्रेनिंग किया। रिसर्च टीम के मेंबर्स है वो सब। और ये आप देख रहे हैं कि ये सेकंड मीटिंग भी यहाँ पे हुई है कि आगे कैसा हम लोगों के घर में जाकर बात करेंगे, उनके साथ कैसा ये करके। और ये नंबरिंग भी, हर घर में एक नंबरिंग किया है, और अपने डोर में डाला है ये नंबर। और जो फाइंडिंग्स आए, रिसर्च के जो फाइंडिंग्स आए हैं, वो एक गांव, सब गांव वाले आए थे, यहाँ पे करीबन 200 लोग थे। तो उसके सामने एक ड्रामा प्ले किया फाइंडिंग का, कि क्या क्या फाइंडिंग्स आए हैं। जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल, गांव के जो यूथ है वो ज्यादा मोबाइल में टाइम वेस्ट करते हैं, घर से ज्यादा देर तक घर से बाहर रहते हैं, ओल्ड पीपल को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं देते। तो अभी हमारे यहाँ पे जो अनिल दादा आया है, वो पेरेंट्स का रोल किया था कि घर में क्या सिचुएशन है, पेरेंट्स को कोई सुनते नहीं। तो एक रिसर्च टीम के 2 लोग यहाँ पे वो रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं। अनिल दादा, शाहरुख त्यांचा व्हिडिओ दाखव। अभी दिख रहे हो अनिल दादा, वो यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट भी हुआ है, वो रिसर्च टीम के एक मेंबर है, और उनको भी बहुत प्राउड फील होता है गांव के लिए उसने जो किया है रिसर्च में आकर। तो उनको भी बहुत अच्छा लगता है, वो आज आए हैं हमारे मीटिंग में।
ते आता बोलायचं आहे ना त्यांना.
नेक्स्ट साइड प्लीज मारूफ। अभी जो फाइंडिंग्स आए थे कि यूथ ज्यादा मोबाइल यूज करते हैं, ज्यादा देर तक घर से बाहर रहते हैं, तो गांव वाले लोगों ने इकट्ठा आकर जो रिसर्च टीम के लोगों ने उनके साथ बात की, और यूथ को एक हमारा एक यहाँ के ट्रेडिशनल एक पुराना खेल है, उनको लेजिम बोलते हैं, उनको ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व किया। शुरुआत में 10 लोग थे, अभी 60 लोग हो गए हैं। और ये उनका टाइम जो मोबाइल में ज्यादा यूज होता था, वो टाइम अभी शाम को सब खेल खेलते हैं और वहां पे ज्यादा टाइम देते हैं। अभी अवेयरनेस, और भी एक अवेयरनेस ट्रेनिंग हमारे गांव में बड़ी यात्रा वगैरह होती है, त्योहार होते हैं, वहां पे पोस्टर वगैरह लगवाया है कि गांव वाले लोग आते जाते देख कर वो पढ़ रखे, और वेलबींग क्या है, कैसा है, ये सब कर रहे हैं।
ये पोस्टर प्रदर्शन से कर किया है
और पोस्टर प्रदर्शन किया है वो। मैडम,
एंड करतो तुझा काय ते बोलून एंड करणार.
तो ये हमारा रिसर्च का किया है, और रिसर्च होने के बाद गाँव वालों को इतना समझ में आया कि हर घर में खुशी होनी चाहिए, सबके साथ कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए, और सब हैप्पी रहना चाहिए। ये रूट को सबको पता चल रहा है, और अभी आगे सब एक्शन भी लेने के लिए तैयार है, और कम्युनिटी बदलाव आने के बाद थोड़ी हैप्पी हो रही। अनिल दादा, आप थोड़ा बोल सकते हैं? अभी अनिल दादा है, वो रिसर्च के मेंबर है गांव के, वो भी 1 मिनट बोल सकते हैं। मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ।
हॅलो. हा, आता आमच्या गावात पहिल्यांदा आत्महत्येचा लय प्रादुर्भाव झाला होता, म्हणजे ज्यादा लोक मेली होती. मग आम्ही हे रिसर्च केल्यामुळं आता 75% लोक, आता बदलाव झालाय चांगला. आत्महत्या आता त्यापासून रिसर्च केलेल्यापासून आत्महत्या एकही झालेली नाही, आणि माणसांच्यात बदलाव बी चांगला झालेला आहे. थैंक यू।
अभी अनिल दादा ये बोल रहे हैं कि जो रिसर्च होने के बाद जो एक्शन लेड आ रही है उसमें उसे देखकर गांव वाले लोग बहुत खुश है। और रिसर्च के होने के बाद हमारे गांव में पूरा 1.5-2 साल से एक भी सुसाइड नहीं हुआ है। तो उनको खुशी लगती है। रिसर्च का ये फायदा हुआ है कि हर घर में जाकर लोगों ने जब बात की रिसर्च टीम ने, तो हर घर में ये पहुंच गया है कि सुसाइड ये वर्ड्स नहीं है, लेकिन हमारे घर में जो कम्युनिकेशन है, जो गैप्स रहते हैं वो होने नहीं चाहिए। हर एक दूसरे के साथ बात होनी चाहिए और हैप्पी होम सबका होना चाहिए ऐसा।
Um, I would like to add here that, like earlier, um,
व्यवस्थित कमी शब्द.
yeah. Can I be heard? Hello.
Yeah,
हाँ मॅडम, आवाज तुमचा.
it's better, Anuradha ji, but still it's low.
Yeah. So, when team learned about salt, and we realized that um, salt process was so important because earlier we had worked in several villages, we never followed this type of processes, and obviously we didn't get any result. But this was first project where, with the simulation, people started asking questions, they started thinking for themselves. So this, I feel this was very important process because of the salt, and people themselves, they felt like uh, finding out what is happening, why this is happening. Otherwise, more of suicide would have been done. So village coming together, they forming the community, they forming the unity, and they thought that what needs to be done. So I think according to us, this process is so important, and people are taking care now, to prevent further suicide in the villages because they found out the root cause. So I think salt process has worked so effectively here. Community got engaged, people started thinking, and once we exit from that project, they themselves will take care of issues in the village. So I think that's the process, and it's very powerful. Earlier we did research on piece of paper, we bundled up those papers, did the tabulation, did this, that, but the problem kept on happening. But here, since the community took the initiative and did the fact finding, it will be very helpful for community to go ahead. That's what I think.
Thank you, Anil ji, Jayashri, and Anuradha ji.
मैं एक एग्जांपल
Yeah.
देना चाहती हूँ यहाँ पे कि मैं अभी मास्टर कर रही हूँ और कम्युनिटी डेट रिसर्च मैंने एक प्रोजेक्ट किया और सबमिट किया कॉलेज में फर्स्ट टाइम है वो प्रोजेक्ट लेकर। और
Okay.
2 कॉलेज ने हमें इनवाइट किया कि ये कम्युनिटी डेट रिसर्च क्या है, तो वहाँ पे सब प्रिंसिपल वगैरह थे, तो उसने भी पहली बार ऐसा सुना कि ये
Okay.
कम्युनिटी कर सकती है।
Okay. Thanks a lot. Jayashri, आप और chat में लिख सकते हैं. She's very proud. She's doing her masters and she presented this in her college and she came first and she's being acknowledged by other colleges and being invited to present village-led research. Yeah. So, okay. I now invite you that when we did the baseline for this initiative, those in the villages, the facilitators come from there and they conducted, and they were doing it for the first time. But we were not able to engage the community in conducting the baseline. But then we encouraged that findings were disseminated by the community themselves to their own community members. So we have 2 examples. One is from Bappa, who works with indigenous communities. Bappa, over to you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Bappa. I'm from Session1 organization, and our organization is located in Kanjanpur near Bolpur, Shantiniketan. I'm based in India. So today I am going to present our Session1's art initiative, indigenous community-led transformation. So Session1 started art initiative in September 2024, with two indigenous Adivasi Santal community, Govindawala and Kyoda. So in these villages, there are very less access to government facilities, low awareness, and dependent on political leaders. And we also selected three facilitators from the same. Our three facilitator conducted a baseline survey in two indigenous villages. So after they collected data, entered it into Excel, and we together prepared a comprehensive quantitative and qualitative report. And this report highlighted many issues of the villages, and among them we selected three major issues like school dropout. Students are very in education, and second is child marriage, and third is excessive use of alcohol and alcohol among the both youth and aged. So not only this problem, but also there are another problem also highlighted, like women are very less opportunity to have a participated in decision making. They have unequal equal opportunity, and dominance of Manji Haram in the villages, who is the leader of traditional leaders of the villages, take always final decision. Also, there are poor drainage problems. Youth have very less job opportunities. Next, please. Yes. So, to be honest, that we never shared our baseline report to the community before. We just collected data, prepared report, and share it to the donor as per their requirement, or we'll keep it with us for our database. But thanks to ARC's initiative, that we changed our strategies, and now we shared our baseline report to the community's youth for their understanding. And after they understanding it, they decided that they will present it through a drama. And next, please. I also want to add another things is that I thanks to the youth who took initiative to organize these events, even after the even in the during monsoon season too. So yeah, here we can see that youth performed their drama highlighting the issues identified in the reports. Next, please. Marulji, next, yes. So you can see that here among the 300 people, 250 people participated in the meeting, and they acknowledged these issues, and they were divided into 4 groups to reflect these issues and feedback them. And most of them feedback that they can understood these issues before, but they never raised the voice against this. But this is a good place, or this is a good platform for them to fulfill their dreams. Next, please. Yes, I can add another thing is that in this during the dissemination program, villagers took the initiative to inaugurate the event with their traditional Adivasi songs and dances. Though they shared that gradually their traditional songs and dances in Santali were being lost. But now for this program, they took initiative to revive it and present it. Next, please. So I can share an early impact that after salt in approaches with all, and after participated in the dissemination program, we can observe some little changes in the villages. So I can share an example in Keuda villages that youth took initiative to clean their road during the monsoon, when the people very problem to cross the road. And another example is that Manji Haram in the villages, who is the traditional leaders of the village, and who just now admitted that they, until now, they could not understand the effect of child marriage and school dropout. But now they can understand it and try to cooperate with the facilitator and develop the villagers. I can also add another example that youth of the villagers can understand that they expense too much money in alcohol and puja. But now, instead of it, they want to save this money for the development of the villages. So sometimes our little changes we can observe. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bappa. Now we take you to Bangladesh. Are you ready? So Sadia, who heads Grow Your Reader Foundation, a youth leader, she is going to present her experience.
Thank you, Ritu. Hello, everyone. I feel deeply honored to share our story from my own village, Bashpur, Bangladesh, the home of my grandparents. So, growing up, I saw its struggles, drug abuse spreading silently, and women often undervalued. People rarely talked about this issue. So, traditionally, dissemination meetings are formal events where guests come, listen politely, eat, and leave. But last year, with Ritu's huge encouragement, we tried something new. After our baseline survey, the community themselves presented the findings. So how did it happen? Our facilitator, Monira Appa and Prakash Bhai, shared our baseline survey findings with a few community members and asked them if they wanted to share the survey findings with the community, and they shared a very beautiful idea. So last year on June, 10 adolescents youth shared the findings not through a formal presentation but through Jarigan, a traditional folk song that is their greatest strength. So 6 girls and 4 boys aged 15 to 18 wrote the lyrics, composed the melody, and practiced together. So for the first time, girls participated alongside the boys. So after this, performing together became normalized in the school as well. So the performance was really magical. A total of 110 people attended, including institutional heads, Upojela chairman, member, school management committee, and religious leader. So Maruf, can you please play the video so that
সময় কাটায় তারা মোবাইল ফোনে, প্রেমের নেশায় তারা কারো কথা না শোনে। বাবা মায়ের অসুস্থতা আরো একটি কারণ, পরিবারের মাঝে এখন দ্রুত যোজন।
Thank you, Maruf. So from this dissemination meeting, Grow Your Reader Foundation experienced and learned so many things, which has lots of ripple effects like trust and ownership. The findings become the community's own story. This was not an NGO report. It was their lived reality shared by their own youth. This created a new level of trust and made the bond between GOIRF and the community much stronger, and community perspective. Through Jarigan, the data become alive. People saw themselves in the findings and felt, yes, this is us and this is our village. So, and community priorities and actions. So once the findings were shared, the community began coming up with solutions. Sometimes it's very different from the experts might suggest, yet practical and rooted in their lives. So we invited the Upojela chairman. We were a little bit anxious initially if he got angry to listen the findings, since most of the findings were not so much positive. So, but his response was mind-blowing. He thanked the community for sharing and encouraged continued discussion on issue and like family unity, drug abuse, and people immediately felt like, seen and heard and suggested simple but powerful actions. Can you please go to the next slide? Spending more family time, guiding youth, strengthening community unity, and nurturing, naturally reducing screen time and negative influences. This will help you to reduce the drug abuse. So and also shift in power dynamics. So perhaps the most beautiful changes we got to was who got to speak, and youth voices, women voices, and those usually left out were suddenly heard, and traditional leaders listened, sometimes with surprise, sometimes with pride. Many women like Panna Begum have joined such meetings for the first time in their lives. So I have also stated one of like Panna Begum's reflections, and if you want to read more reflections from the participant, you can. One of my teammate Priya have shared the links, and can you please go to the next slide? So Panna Begum immediately started to teach traditional games to her children so that they can spend more family time. And later on, grandparents started organizing the storytelling sessions, and they do picnic if they feel their unity is reducing. So I also want to share a small but powerful moments before ending my sharing. So one of my uncle, this happened after the dissemination meeting. Immediately after the dissemination meeting, one of my uncles who is involved in drug abuse and peddling, so come to me and calmly said, almost as a threat, that don't talk too much about this issue or there will be consequences. So it reminded me of something important. Well, communities truly engage in research, hidden issues start to surface. People begin to talk and to question. So I carry this story with deep humility and love for my village. Change begins when a community believes their voice matters. And in Bashpur, I saw that moment happen. So while conducting research, let's gently ask ourselves, are we truly touching lives through meaningful engagement, or are we unintentionally viewing people only as a source of information? So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sadia. Yeah. So, Sadia and all the participants so far and the presenters, I think I don't have much to say, but I think what if we democratize the knowledge and if we ask questions like who generates, who uses knowledge, whose research, for whom, and which knowledge is valued? Is it one kind of knowledge valued more over, or both different kinds of knowledge, whether experiential or academic knowledge? Can there be a blend? So these are just some of the questions for everybody to think. Next slide, please. Yeah. So you've heard so many people speaking. You've read a lot of comments in the chat. So particularly the researchers today, did it spark something in you? Yes, there are massive challenges, but is there one step? Is there something you feel you will do differently? Are you inspired to do? Would you like to share something in the chat, or you can raise your hand so that we can listen to you? आपको कुछ लगा है कि आप differently करना चाहते हो? Any lesson you're taking with you? Or any thought you have?
While others are thinking, can I take a moment to share my reflection, if you allow me to?
Of course, please, Maruf.
So, I mean, the most striking part for me is while I was listening to all these sharings, is the kind of pride everyone was taking while they were sharing, and it truly looked community-led. I mean, we had the opportunity to speak to you and your partners in the past, but this is the first time that I'm seeing it. So it for me, it is very thought-provoking that it does. I mean, it just gives that sense that you need to walk that extra mile to actually make it happen. But when you do it, the result that it yields are literally that community owns it, and they, when they share it, I mean, listening to Anilji was very inspiring that he came all the way to be part of this and added to this audience, which was, again, I think it is personally for me an honor, and obviously an honor for this group. So very, very inspiring, and thanks to all the team for sharing all these inspiring stories.
Yeah, I can see Nawaz. Is that?
Yes, Ritu, no question. I just wanted to appreciate everyone who shared, Shuchana team, Avni team, Grow Your Reader team, as well as those who have not shared. But we know that they are also doing the same work, and the listening to the story that made me feel that listening to each other's stories, how that sometimes motivate you as well to do more work, to do similar work. So deep appreciation and encouragement to the team. And as we are like the way you are working, we hope and believe that you'll continue doing that work, as well as proactively sharing, so that will inspire others as well as inspire your team members as well. So thank you very much once again.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Nawaz. Yeah, someone asked about the time frame. It's 1 year, 2 year time. Yeah, Shadman.
Thank you, Ritu, for the floor. Though I am not an active researcher, so what I can say that the action you mentioned, that one action we might take. So I am working as a program associate at Grow Your Reader Foundation. So we're working with a school. We're building a school community in Mymensingh. So we are going to implement the SALT approach in that community. But the learning is here for today for me, that whenever we will do the baseline survey, whenever we will do the need analysis of the community, so the dissemination should be conducted with the community, involving the community members. I have got to learn about the stories that have really inspired the community to take action more when the dissemination happened involving them. So I think that is a true inspiration for me to also incorporate this community-led dissemination approach whenever I and my team will be doing the same in the community. I think that will be a big inspiration for me that I'm taking forward from today's space. So grateful for to everyone who have shared their stories and giving this much like a solid learning.
Yeah, thanks, Shadman. I'll encourage you to engage community in the entire research. Here we could not, but yeah, Roshan, and then.
Hello, Ritu. Are you listening me?
Yes, please.
Ritu, I am engaged with some of research activities with my university professor, that is disaster risk reduction. And in case of this research, we use participatory research. In case of in disaster, where we do the research like the area, what we do that we selected several groups in a community, and we talk with them about the problem and what could be the solution, and we get approximately 5 to 10 solution of the problem. Then we gather information and pick what could be the most suitable. We also can do in case of SALT project. We can engage our community when we bring any changes, and we can solve according to their decision, because they know their problem. So participatory research can be engaged actively in SALT implementation,
Right.
I think.
Right. That is what Avni presented, community-led participatory action research. Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
it is very effective actually.
Yes. I think communities need to do more research, and maybe researchers can be more community facilitators as well. I think we need that mixture. That is what is coming up from our experience. Um,
There is one question, I think, Ritu, in the chat. Ashish says, I want to involve the youth of the community in research on root cause so they can inspire to think how they fill the gaps. I'm not sure if it's just a reflection or a question, but maybe if you want to just add.
Yeah, so often we do participatory action research, and this is my own experience. If community takes ownership and they identify what is the issue they want to do research on, and that is the best, because then they use data for their own use. Otherwise, it just becomes a researcher-led. So, and researcher being very mindful of how, like, reflexivity in research. So being aware of the privilege or the power a researcher brings and being very careful about that. And SALT, as my colleague Indrani said earlier, it builds that facilitation skills. I think the world needs more. So on behalf of Global Fund for Children and all our partners, deep gratitude to your organization for hosting us. I invite Chavi to share.
Thank you, Ritu.
Thank
you, Ritu. And I think, it's just safe to say that we are all leaving today deeply inspired by all the stories, the insights, and the unwavering spirit of community-led change. So a heartfelt thank you to Ritu, you, the GCF team, all our incredible speakers, and the wonderfully engaged audience who also brought this space to life. I just want to add that this is just the beginning of the Voices of Practice series, and we are excited to continue this journey with all of you with more sessions to come. So please keep an eye on this space. And until next time, let's keep shifting power together is really what I would say. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day.